From the colonial era, transitioning through independence to the present Fourth Republic, Ghana has consolidated and maintained good performance in its gold production sector. For over 1,000 years, gold mining in Ghana evolved and transcended the ancient Kingdom of Ghana, the former Gold Coast colony, and to present-day Ghana, producing a substantial portion of the world's gold. Gold has adorned Ghana's cultural heritage and ornaments for decorating kings and queens, mostly from the southern part of Ghana. Currently, gold contributes about 40% of total export receipts. Ghana recorded a 29% increase in gold production last year, enabling it to win back the top spot from South Africa as the continent's largest gold producer for 2022, from 3,643,687 ounces for 2022 and 2.819823 million ounces for 2021, driven by growth in the output of both large and small-scale sectors.
Production level was just about 2% of the national gold production. It was estimated to be about 60,000 people who were involved all over the country. But that thing, keep on increasing from 1989 up to where we are today, when we have an average of 35% of gold production coming from the small-scale mining sector, and it engaged more than 1 million people. And stats shows that for each of the people operating in the small-scale mining sector, you have about 4 people depending on them. So in all, about 5,000 people are depending on artisanal and small-scale mining in this country.
The commodity, seen as the driver of development for mining communities, Ghana's artisanal small-scale mining sector has taken shape from a low-skilled industry to a highly improved, organized, and sophisticated sector, embracing about 4 million workforce and providing income to mining communities that lack alternative livelihoods.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana Live on Metro TV, and we've been joined by Mr. Martin Ayisi, the Chief Executive Officer of the Minerals Commission, for our usual Thursday conversation about the mining sector. Good morning, Martin.
Morning, Martin.
Okay.
Morning, Randy.
Okay. So the last time we were talking about small-scale mining and all that, but just a couple of issues before we get into those issues, and the galamsey is at the forefront and all that. But on the front pages of the papers, I see that you have gone to set up. There are two big issues here. You opening an office at BBNE, and of course, also revoking or withdrawing, I don't know which is the more appropriate word, the license of a mining company.
Ronnie, thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, yesterday we were in BBNE to commission our new office. The interesting thing about that municipality, and here also BBNE Bekwai municipality, the municipal capital is BBNE, is that it has a huge history of mining, decades. So we have Asante Gold's BBNE mine, which is actually 5 minutes from our office. Then you have Asante Gold Chirano mine, barely 30 minutes from our office. And then similarly, Ghana Bauxite. So that municipality hosts 3 big operations. And they've seen mining over 80 years. That's number one. And then there are several thousands of small-scale people who are operating in that area. And one of the problems we have in fighting the galamsey menace is enforcement. So in addressing enforcement issues, you got to be on the excuse me, you need to be on the ground. By that I mean you have to have presence. So one way by which you can show presence is to have an office and then put all these your engineers, whether mechanical, mining, whatever, there. So That is why we opened that office, so that we can just be close to the miners. You don't expect them to be operating from Kumasi or Takoradi. Because you see, this is Western North. Because you see, the frequency of inspections and monitoring is also a factor. If you are far away, somewhere in Takoradi or Takwa, or let's say Kumasi, it means that because you spread yourself thinly, instead of going there maybe even twice a week, you might even go there once a month because you have other areas to deal with. And if they know you come once a month, there's a tendency for them to relax because they know that, oh, by the time this man will come, the inspectors will come, perhaps we are through with this, let's get on with it. So with this, you can even visit the mines daily. I mean, the small-scale miners are within the vicinity. As I said, Bibiani mine is 5 minutes from our office. So if an inspector goes to issue an order and you think you see him 2 weeks, he can even come back in the evening. So it's all part of government's effort to resolve the enforcement mechanism. You know, put men on the ground, let them be closer. And basically that's what we are doing. We've done 2 so far, Achimda, and then this is Bibiani. So it's good news. And I keep repeating, when we are decentralizing our operations, creation of offices and putting inspectors on the ground have nothing to do with political, what do we call it?
Regions.
Because the regional capital of Western North is Sefiri also. But you've just heard me, the action is within this municipality. So within minutes, the officers are on the ground. The other one has to do with, of course, we have the men now. We've recruited a lot of inspectors. The other aspect is that when we get the needed cooperation from other allied institutions who are supposed to help us resolve the issues, then I think we can make a headway. So that is that on the new Bibiani office. We are likely to commission 3 more by the end of the year. Kumasi, which we may show, that comes with a lab to handle 4 underground operations. To handle 4 big mines. Obuasi, Newmont, the current operations, and by next year to be the biggest gold mine in Africa. Then a new one, Ahafo North, and Asanko. So those will be managed from the regional office there. So these 4 mines currently that go to Takoradi for lab work to check almost all their stuff. Because we check to make sure that, for example, we do a rope test to make sure that those things are okay to go underground. Just like the way they come and check your lifts regularly. Now they don't have to go to Takoradi. We will have to come to Kumasi. So Takoradi people will take care of Wasa and then Takwa and Co. We'll still have a lab in Tamale to deal with Azuma and Cardinal. So it's all part of the efforts by government to make sure that your presence is felt everywhere. So that is good for us.
On the revocation or withdrawal or suspension of the license, what was the appropriate description?
It's terminated. Or revoked. Revoked or terminated or cancelled. They all mean the same thing. What happened is that this mine has been there for like 80 or so years. It's been there. Originally a state-owned mine, like Takwa, just like Dunkwa Continental. So that's a famous Prestea mine. And it's passed through several hands, you know, under divestiture, Kushibuchu era, you know, and co. And then these people took it. There were firm commitments that
which people?
Some British company.
When?
That I think about 3 years or so, that they'll make some commitments and invest in the mine. But we didn't see that, and our inspection reports, you know, picked this. We brought it to our attention as minister, and by law, what you normally do is to issue a notice to the company to show cause. You see, when people put in billions, you don't get up overnight and say your license is cancelled. You need to give him time to show cause why your license should not be terminated or withdrawn. In the case of prospecting licenses, it's just 3 months, 90 days. If it's a large-scale operation, 120. So we gave them notice to show cause why government should not withdraw their license for not living up to the requirements as per the rules. And that was done.
What exactly were they supposed to have done that they didn't do?
So, for example, you see, every mining company, you have a plan with Minerals Commission that you invest X amount of money. If it's prospecting, we call it a work program. You see, when your prospecting license is approved, it comes with a work program 3 years. That, you know, I will carry out this geological investigation or exploratory works, and I'll spend X amount of money. That's why when you're doing an application, it comes with it. And then in the case of prospecting license, not later than 2 weeks at the end of the quarter, you file a report with the inspectorate division to say that I was billed to spend, let's say, 1 million or 5 million cedis, you know, within this quarter to carry out the following geological works. I have done it. So you see, within that period, the work of the exploration geologists at Minerals Commission is to be visiting you to see that, one, you're spending the money and you are doing the work, and you file the reports. If it's a large-scale company, you have committed to spend certain amount of money, let's say, to deepen underground, to employ more people, to expand your operations. They file all these things with us. Do you understand? And then our job is to follow up and ensure that you are doing it. And then if it's an operating mine, that it is operating in a way that potentially there couldn't be any accident, so that workers are safe. That's our job now. And then we picked that they were not doing the investments as per the agreement with us. The monies that they promised that they will spend in developing the underground, because Prestea is underground, they've not been doing it. So we keep cautioning them one story after the other. So things got to a head where we said, no, we have to issue a notice. So with the blessing of the minister, he said, okay, go ahead. And the notice was issued. They came back with stories, give us some breathing space again. That was done, and then we have realized that where we've got into, we need to pull the plug.
So you gave them the opportunity to do so for 3 years?
No, not 3 years. You know, about a year.
1 year.
Yes. You know, and we realized that no, they will not be able to do it because they were supposed to demonstrate certain capacities, and the reports upon reports from the Takrady officials that they were not able to do that.
Is it because your due diligence was weak?
No, I mean, these things happen.
Okay.
Things can happen. You know, the fact that Newmont is selling a chim, it doesn't mean that they are not prepared to develop it. Our job will be whoever will take over potentially will have to follow the plan Newmont had with government. Do you understand? These things do happen.
You've seen the workers.
Yeah, so
you've heard them.
That we've seen, I mean, this is not the first time. So they came and they were protesting that government should pull up the plug, and it was done. I mean, this was yesterday, and I think that's the president of the Mine Workers Union. So I'm told.
So you have rescinded your decision?
No, they had all along said that the workers have been complaining to. They have all along said to us that
you should
withdraw
let the
the
people
license
go
and get it. I mean, bring people who are more capable.
Okay.
Yes, so they came to do the demonstration, and I'm sure in the course of that, then the news came. It's not the demonstration that took place yesterday that caused maybe the minister to say he's terminating.
So the workers have been demonstrating for a termination?
Yes, because they think that, you know, those who work at the mines, you sign agreement with them. Okay, that you pay them so much, you do so much. They all, and then let's say the mine manager who runs the plant, the mine, he has a schedule. Like you, as a general manager at Metro here, you have a contract with Metro. What is expected of you, what is not expected. So we know, and so when you go for inspection, you talk to them, and then when we serve notice to, they get to know. You see, and then when certain things are not going right, we get to know. Yes, that is it. And there are two ways. When the inspectors go to the mine, yes, you to ensure that you are following the rules. The most important thing is not just following the rules, but to avoid accidents. Randy, you know what it means for, like, years back, you saw, was it in Chile, that some people got trapped for this. You know what it means to just get up, or a news should come through right and say, let's say 300, you know, Ghanaians, they could be our relations, brothers and sisters, are trapped underground in Wassa. You understand? They are trapped, let's say 500 meters or a kilometer deep. It's scary. So right from the very day they decide to sink a shaft, every minute the inspectors will have to be sure that everything is correct. I mean, you go to Ahafo, Subika, by far the biggest gold mine in Ghana today, is a monster mine. I mean, it's a huge mine, underground and surface operations. Constantly, the inspectors, whether electrical, mechanical, have to make sure that, the finest details of everything is up. You check everything. Because things, machines, they can fail you. You saw that plane that Boeing, Ethiopian Airlines, and then you see the one in Indonesia. There were problems. Told software or where the corners being cut, and that accident happened. Or BHP, the Brumadinho collapse, dam collapse in Brazil. And BHP is by far one of the biggest gold, mining companies in the world. So it is for Valley. These big companies run that. We've seen dam collapse in Canada. We've seen dams collapsing in Brazil. We don't want that to happen here. So we also have to, at the appropriate time, we'll come and discuss whether we are equipped enough, for example, to ensure that we also don't have those accidents and all those things. So, if like who's law, if you read some signs, we've gotten to a point where we think that enough is enough. So minister said, okay, let's go ahead and pull the plug. Where do we go from here and get more capable?
Have you had any reaction from the company?
Yes, the company.
Yes.
I saw some notice being issued, but of course we also know our law.
Okay.
The minister is a lawyer.
Because
myself, I'm a lawyer.
For us as Ghanaians, we also would want to know that everything has been
we have gone
thoroughly checked.
we have gone through all that. Seeking advice of the Attorney General, my whole legal department, myself. We rely on my 22 years plus reports, experience. The inspectors have done their work, etc. Randy, as far back as December, the mine has not been operational. Why are you not being operational? You don't have the money. So why should we sit down and look at you after we have exhausted, a reasonable period in which you need to tell us that you can have the money to put in the mine. So next steps, we're going to work. What is important is to keep the place safe. So we have military presence there to ensure that nobody goes to do anything bad. The workers are there. The Minerals Commission will work with the union. So I'll be meeting the union and the workers to ensure that we keep the place until such a time that we quickly, with the approval of government, get an investor who has what it takes to invest in mine. There's a lot of gold there. It's one of the finest resources you can think of in this country. It's unfortunate they didn't put in money as we expect, and others do, but they not. Whilst others, because Newmont came to build one mine, all of a sudden they added a chin, and within the same Ahafo complex, they brought in an extra billion to even, instead of building a mine and tracking it, they said no, it could be a standalone. So if Newmont within the same license can build two big mines, which will take them to a little over 1 million, why won't others do it? Others like Iduape and Takwa are even contemplating a JV, etc. So if others are not doing their work, we got to go hard on them. So we pull the plug and it's over.
All right.
But of course, like somebody will say, anybody can go to court. So if they think they have a case against government, they can go. But our case is watertight. They've just disappointed us.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So let's get on with the issue of galamsey. And it's because after the ministry, and this was the minister, issued a statement detailing government's response to the fight against galamsey. Of course, a lot of people, including myself, described it as a joke, especially the part that said that MMDCs should, RECSEX and DISEX and others should deal with the issue. And we made it abundantly clear why we thought so. Beyond that, subsequent to that, the President announced an ad hoc interministerial committee to deal with this issue and to meet organizing labor. The newspapers yesterday carried an interview with the Minister of Information, Ms. Abubakar, the Honorable Minister of Information, who spoke about the fact that the meeting went on very well and they were going to reconvene to deal with some of the issues. But organized labor itself issued a statement yesterday. And they say that organized labor concluded a meeting on the 17th of September 2024 with the ad hoc ministerial committee set up by the President of the Republic to engage stakeholders in the fight against illegal mining menace currently ravaging our country. This follows organized labor's press conference at which it outlined specific demands from government before the end of September 2024. The government team led by the Honorable Minister for National Security, Albert Kandapa, gave a chronological rendition of their efforts at combating galamsey. Organized labor is of the opinion that government efforts in the past have failed woefully to stop the galamsey menace and its negative impacts. In the wake of the existential threat this menace poses to our lives and livelihoods, organized labor remains resolute to ensure that this issue is addressed permanently. Given the dire nature of the threat we face, organized labor made additional demands to its initial demands as follows. 1. Revocation of forest, cessation of forest reserves, Amendment Instrument 2023, EI 234. And 2, all political parties to sign a pact on banning galamsey.
Can we discuss those two, if you don't mind, before you complete?
So let me just finish the statement. Okay. All political parties signed a pact on banning galamsey. It says, while the government team accepted these proposals from organized labor, it requested for additional time to engage other stakeholders to enable it develop a comprehensive roadmap towards addressing the galamsey menace. This would also enable government to respond to the specific demands of organized labor in a week. We want to reiterate that our initial demands remain unchanged and timelines for action have not been varied, and that if by the end of September 2024, a favorable response is not received, our intended actions will be rolled out. We continue to count on the support of our members and well-meaning Ghanaians and urge all to remain resolute in our quest to ensure our self-preservation and a complete cessation of galamsey in our country. And it's signed by Joshua, Secretary General for Organized Labor. Now, just for the benefit of our viewers, we'll go back to what the initial demands, which they say hold, and they've added these two. They're asking, they demanded the immediate declaration of a state of emergency in all areas affected by illegal mining. All areas affected by illegal mining. State of emergency. A halt to all mining activities in forest reserves. The establishment of special courts to fast-track the prosecution of galamsey operators. And the deployment of a military to remove and destroy all mining equipment in affected areas. And so these were the initial demands. And so they have now added revocation of forest, cessation of forest reserves, Amendment Instrument 2023, EI 234, and all political parties signing a pact on banning galamsey. Yes.
Randy, thank you very much. And I'm happy to discuss some of these issues. There are 4 issues here. The original 4, and then there are 2. The good thing is that I've been part of the discussions.
You were part of this meeting?
Yes, I was in the meeting.
Okay.
But I want to clarify one thing. The ministerial team that was set up, because myself and then the CEO of Forestry Commission are supposed to provide technical support or advice to the 4.
So like you've been co-opted?
Yes, to provide, because we are the
technical
regulators,
people,
so
yes.
it is normal. Let me correct this. Contrary to what is out there, I mean, there is some information out there that they are supposed to fight galamsey.
That the committee is to fight galamsey?
No.
Okay.
I need to explain that.
So what's the TUR of the committee?
I'll come to that, because I've been part of it. And I was in the meeting when everything was conceived. They cannot work independent of the 2 regulators, Forestry Commission and Minerals Commission. So that is it. It is not, the committee was not set up by the president to fight galamsey. That multi-sectorial collective approach, ourselves as regulator, the ministry, the security agencies, and then the other institutions that are supposed to, help us, dissect, resect, still exist. The whole idea is to ramp it up.
Because the statement when the committee was set up was that this committee was to engage stakeholders.
Yes, so you understand it, but out there, the impression is as if government has failed. They are bringing another, if you like, institution or body, howsoever described to. I mean, you understand that. So I'm happy you understood it. It is just to engage stakeholders.
No, the minister has told us who will fight the galamsey.
But I've been telling yes, but I've been telling you the reports we've been receiving when I hear people speak on radio. So I'm just using this platform to clarify that that it is to consult organized labor because they have raised issues. And when organized labor speaks, it has nothing to do with NDC, NPP. They are speaking as our parents, our brothers who are working. Okay, so that is that. So thanks for the clarification. I'm happy you understood it. Randy, the new one, let me quickly discuss that, then we go to the original position.
Right.
And what government thinks.
Yes.
And what government is doing.
Yes.
Randy, revocation of the EI 234.
Yes.
I think it has to do with the EI that covers the Achimota forest. I'm not competent to speak on that.
Okay.
The best person will be the Forestry Commission CEO. He can, like I cannot go and speak on matters of forest. I can only speak on the mining bit. That is the year I'm told covers Achimota forest. So that's my understanding. So
let me ask a small question, just in case you have information. Would it have helped if the Water Resources Commission were part of this group?
They are part of it. I mean, they've always been part of us, you know.
No, because you said that yourself and the Forestry Commission CEO.
So for instance, the licensing committee, okay, the licensing committee at Minerals Commission is chaired by my good self. EPA is there, Geological Survey is there, Water Resources is there. And then depending on whether there's a pending application in Forest Reserve, we ask the Forestry Commission to come. Lands Commission is also there because everything you do affects land. So we've always been working together. Okay. And so it's important we clarify that. So I won't speak on the EI 234 because I'm not competent to speak on it. It's outside my jurisdiction, and I'm not the type that behaves as if I know everything. But Randy, you remember last week, or when people were, and again I was on Newsfire, and then I think I came to your place Thursday before I went to Newsfire on Saturday. When government wanted to say, or when government said we want to engage, people say, oh, maybe it's a usual delay tactics, or it's just a talk shop. And I'll tell you some of the little things that I keep saying that it's important we do this engagement to clarify certain things. It is not the fact that government is running away from the fact that, look, we have genuine concerns, or people are raising the fact that your water body looks like perhaps the kaftan I'm wearing. But Randy, when you say, so let's take out the EI 234. I won't speak on it. It has nothing to do with me. But when you say political parties must sign, if you can read that again.
All political parties to sign a pact on banning galamsey.
So that's where I have a little bit of problem.
How do you ban an illegality?
Yes, that is it. So you see, it tells you that a little bit of education, it doesn't take away, because you see, when we speak like this, people say, oh, you are defending the issue and all. No.
But we can understand what they mean.
Yeah, you see, so it tells you that they also need to hear government or us so that we don't use certain words. Because you see, it tells you they are confusing galamsey with small-scale mining. If you say there are serious enforcement of small-scale operations, for that matter, we're having this mess, that we concede. And then we are under obligation to make sure that this Milo look-alike water body becomes colorless. That one, nobody is quarreling with that. But when you say ban galamsey, we have a problem. Because you see, this should be read in tree, you know, and they'll carry it all over Ghana, as if galamsey is a lawful activity.
Would you have been comfortable if they have said all political parties signed a pact to eradicate galamsey? If they had used eradicate instead of ban?
That is it. That's all that I'm saying. So these are just clarification, because galamsey is illegal. Galamsey simply means any person, body, or entity. I mean, how?
I guess the intent really is about eradicating.
Yes. But then the news has gone out already. Ban galamsey. So somebody in my village, your village, where this will be interpreted in tree.
That's illegal activity.
Then in my village, you see, that ordinary guy in Rara who is listening to the radio in tree, he gets the impression that galamsey is a lawful activity. But maybe people are not doing it well. That's why we are having this problem. So, and then sometimes they use very technical words, and when the information goes out there, it's a problem.
Okay.
Okay, so it's up to the political parties, NDC, NPP, and all the other ones. I want to believe they want to say, look, we want to see your position on illegal mining. So the political parties will respond. I think they have to write formally and demand that. Now let's come to the other four. State of emergency, I don't make that declaration. It's a president. But after our meeting at Alisa, the committee, it has briefed president as to what transpired and where we are. Whether or not it will be declared or not, that is not for me to decide. It's for those.
And to be specific, they say they want that declaration in the illegal mining areas.
That's okay.
Right.
So that they will respond to that. I mean, that's the prerogative of the president.
Right.
The other one, special court, I don't think it's an issue. But I'm advised. I think I heard from the defense minister also, assigned to be corrected, that they have been on this issue with the chief justice for some time now. So perhaps maybe this is a time for them to pick it up. I don't think this is an issue at all. This is not an issue.
Well, to the extent that
how soon depends on
to the extent that it's not been done.
Well, how soon depends on our legal process, because I don't know the rules. I've been off practice for if you like 20 years. So I don't know how special courts are created unless I go back and look at my law. So if the chief justice, it will take her 3 months or 4 months to create that. That one we cannot quarrel with that.
Right.
But I don't think this is an issue, if you ask me personally. So the special court thing is not a problem. I believe just to make sure that people are quickly prosecuted, like what we saw when those riots happened in UK. Then I'm answering them in no particular order. Then so that is it. Then I've tackled the issue of state of emergency. I said that is for the president. The committee will advise. And then special courts, I don't think that's an issue. Now, they are saying ban mining in forest reserves. Randy, let me take my time and explain, because it's kind of similar to when they use the language ban galamsey, because it's already illegal. But we've settled that. When you say ban all forms of mining or mining in forest reserves, now these are the issues that quickly come up. Number one, Randy, and my minister has said this severally, and I will repeat. No lawful small-scale mining is permitted in the forest. What is allowed in the forest reserve lawfully is large scale. Like, for example, Ghana bauxite since the early 40s. You understand? Parts of Newmont. These are Chimton, it's even underground. Chirano, okay? Parts of Golden Star. So it's only large scale, mining activities that take place in forests. So small scale is not allowed. So the issue of granting licensing in small scale is totally, out of the question. So hang on, I'll come to that.
Yes.
Because I understand the issues very well. The minister took his time and explained at Alisa very well. I was there with him. So when you say ban mining in forest reserve, I'm looking, on top of my head, I'm looking at two issues. One, and we explained to them, but government will come back again. Then the first issue is that you are saying all those large-scale operators in forest reserve, they should stop their job. They should stop mining. We made this clear to them. So you are asking that, for example, Ghana Bauxite Company that has been operating since 1941, okay, over 80-something years, that we've never had issues with, they should immediately close down their operations. That's one. Similarly, Newmont Achim, which is about to go underground in the forest reserve, that should not happen. Everybody get out there. Wasa or Chirano, which belongs to Ashanti Gold, which Ghanaians and then the Republic has closed about half as shareholders. That doesn't even matter. We should close it down. So close down Chirano, close down Newmont Achim, close down Ghana Bauxite. If this statement is anything to go by, respectfully, that is the understanding.
But you met
Hang on. We explained that.
No, when you met them, did you get the understanding from them that this is what they
So,
meant?
Randy, it comes back to what I keep repeating at every radio station or media. It is precisely the reason why government says, I want to engage you for you to understand certain issues. So that when you are expressing your views, like anybody else, you understand where we are coming from. So we are saying, let me repeat, because this is very important and people are listening to us. Number one, small-scale mining is not allowed in forest reserves lawfully. Any activity to that effect is illegal, that is galamsey. So when you say we should ban it, that's a bit misplaced. So then what does a ban mean? It means that it is only large-scale operations that are allowed. So you are basically telling government that stop Newmont Achim from operating, if you like, by your 30th September deadline.
But my question is that
let me
when
finish.
you met them,
let me finish.
what was the understanding you got from them with respect to
that
the
is
ban
the
in
same thing. They say all forms of mining, because minister was on his feet explaining that we don't allow small-scale mining in forests. You see, if we had granted small, just hang on. This is very important. Even if we end with this. If we have granted small-scale mining operation, because they didn't know this, just like a lot of people didn't know that you can operate small-scale underground lawfully, not in forest. So if you are telling us that stop small-scale mining in forest reserves, or ban all forms of mining in forest reserve, government is explaining, of course, because Minerals Commission have the data, that we don't even allow small-scale people to operate lawfully. You can't grant a license. So we had to explain that to them. Then in their response, they said, look, you ban small mining in forest reserves. And the minister went further to explain that if you are saying we should ban mining in forest reserve, then you are saying that Newmont Achim, we should stop them. You are also saying that Ghana bauxite, we should stop them. We are also saying that Chirano, Asante, we should stop them. Now I'm saying Ghana bauxite has been around since the 1940s, like a little over 80 years. Newmont Achim, 2013, and Chirano has been around all these years. Randy, let us be honest with ourselves and also be blunt. The problem we are having, the illegality we are having in the forest reserve, has nothing to do with Newmont Achim. It's important you understand government. So that is why the engagement is important. Chirano, underground, or Ghana bauxite, they are not responsible for all these mess that is annoying all of us. They are not responsible. So if you say ban them, ban everybody, government, and for that matter, all of us, we are uncomfortable with that. So this is the clarification that ministers sought to explain. We have to understand that. Okay.
So help me with this. Recently, I saw a publication by the Fourth Estate, which speaks about a certain number of licenses.
Those are not small scale.
No, just hold on. A certain number of licenses that the Minerals Commission or the minister has issued. The minister signs the leases, not so. Has issued. They gave the numbers and listed the companies and even politically exposed persons and all that. Are you suggesting that all these companies are large-scale mining companies?
Yes. So because I've made it categorical that we don't allow small scale. These are large-scale companies that are putting applications to mine in the forest. Now, Randy, those that have been listed there, none of them have gone through all the protocols, the rules to be allowed lawfully, like Newmont, Chirano, or what do you call it, Ghana bauxite. Let me just spend 2-3 minutes to explain the rules. Now, this is what you need to go through to allow you to operate lawfully in the forest reserve. The various approvals or authorizations that you require. 1, definitely you will need a license, at least, kind of, okay? Signed by the minister acting on the recommendation of the Minerals Commission. That is why you need that. So that's number 1. Number 2, you will require an environmental permit. None of them have it. You require an environmental permit. None of I know that for a fact. Because sometimes too, when issues are thrown out in the media, we have that responsibility to go and look at it and make sure we respond. So environmental permit is also required. Number 3, you will need a forestry entry permit to start with. Forestry entry permit. That means Forestry Commission has agreed that you can enter the forest and carry out that particular activity. Then apart from that, you even have some kind of an arrangement beyond the permit. Okay, when the permit is given that, look, we have no objection to you being granted a license. And when you come back, even before you start, they need to sit down with you and agree. What size are you going to impact? What are you going to disturb? Like the kind of arrangement we have in Newmont. Okay, I showed some excerpts some time ago. You need to agree with all these things. Okay, and even where it's a mining lease, you need to get parliamentary ratification. That is why lithium people, they have not been able to start. They are not in forest anyway. Lithium people have a lease. They've just been issued an environmental permit. They now have an application pending before my chief inspector of mines for the operating permit, which could be issued by the close of this week or early next week. We are still waiting for Parliament to ratify. I believe when they come back from recess, they will do that. So they will need a ratification. They need EPA permit. They need the chief inspector of mines operating permit. And even come back after ratification permit for us to issue them construction permit before you go. So those 15 or so that Forfeit State has even flagged, okay, don't have all the authorizations to work. So when the impression is being created that they are working in the forest reserve, then we have a problem. Then there's some mischief here. But if the directive is, oh, we're giving more licenses in forest, and for that matter, we also have a problem, we can understand. So for instance, they mentioned a particular company that has an application, over Kakum. Randy, I thought this Kakum thing is dead buried. Okay? So sometimes we are not saying we shouldn't be criticized, you shouldn't take us on, or like I have a problem when you meet a policeman and he effects an arrest or is coming to do an investigation, or even some doctors behave that way, and you ask a few questions, say, are you teaching me my job? We have never adopted or put ourselves in a position to say that if you don't work in Minerals Commission, you don't know anything about mining. We don't portray that. But then when I went through the list, one of the issues listed there, it covers the so-called Kakum. Kakum alarmed this nation as if we are at war. And we came here, we explained that nothing like that has happened. Okay? So the gentleman who did the story came to talk to me. But I was not too happy. I'm talking about Seth. Because there were issues he could have clarified with me. He did not. I spent almost 2-3 hours having the interview with him. But then when he came out with the story, he took a different turn. I can understand. So sometimes when CEOs and co don't want to engage some of this media, it's the way some of the journalists behave. And I made it clear to him, we have the exchanges. I tell him he can come back 100 times, I will engage him. Okay? A little bit due diligence to realize that the Kakum issue that was included should not have been included.
Have you had reports of some of these companies that were listed operating in forest reserves?
Randy, some of the areas, I've heard that, and I've passed this information to the Forestry Commission CEO. Sometimes you pick intelligence by passers by the lights of a ratchet and co. Sometimes they draw these things to our attention. I get the information from Forestry Commission that tells me that, and some of the companies have responded, that the area or areas that we have a pending application, we are not responsible for those things because we don't have all the permits. So something must be wrong. Either somebody is, entering that place to go and do it illegally, or Forestry Commission needs to come and explain why, for example, if Randy Mining Company has a pending application over this forest reserve. Because you see, once the news comes out and your name is there in the repository or on the area that, look, you have this application around Metro Forest Reserve, you will definitely be mentioned. A lot of them have denied it, but I will not sit and deny that there is no evidence of illegality. That has to be explained by Forestry Commission, that how come that this is happening. Because some of the companies said, we don't have all that it takes to go and do that activity. So somebody else may be doing it. Why is somebody else doing it? Forestry Commission will have to come and explain. How did people enter the forest to come and, and remove trees or get there and dig all those stuff? Let them come and explain. I will explain my bit. I cannot sit here and hold brief for him. I can only explain or speak to the father, should we allow mining forest or we shouldn't allow? But I cannot sit here and be explaining to the general public, how can that somebody entered Supreme Forest Reserve or at some other forest reserve? Let him come and explain that. You understand? Just like I'm here to explain a lot of issues here. So Randy, when you say...
So let's round up.
Yeah, we'll arrive now. So when you say ban mining activities in forest reserves, then you're asking Newmont, Asante Gold and Co to stop operations. That is problematic. But there are two issues here. If you say, don't grant new licenses, I mean, this is an issue government can look at. It came up there. So at best, government will say, okay, we have a problem because the people who are saying we should stop them are not responsible for the problem. And we have to lay that bare. Is it the case that you are saying then what is consequential or flows from that is that don't issue new ones until we sort out a few issues, government will respond because government will come out. And then they're also asking for a revocation of, LI 2162 that was passed 2 years ago, the one that is supposed to govern the framework within which one can undertake mining activities lawfully. Again, government will look at that. So government will respond to whether or not the revocation of the law on that regulates mining in forest reserve. Government will also respond on the emergency issue. I'm not supposed to respond to that, but I sat in the meeting. And also the special cost too. So they'll at the appropriate time, the committee will come back and say, look, these are responses on this. We think this is fine. This is okay. But on top of my head, I don't think we should have a problem with the special cost. But personally, if you ask me, I cannot ask government if I'm told that you should ban Newmont, Awaso, Bauxite, Ashanti Gold and Co., stop them from operating. No, I don't want to talk about this job because anytime I mention jobs and money, people get angry. Look at that man. He's only talking about money.
To be honest,
yes,
I don't think
I know that
intent.
people send me message. Even my wife told me last week that you are only, I said, look, it's not, Mrs. It's not about jobs and money alone. But then I cannot hold somebody responsible for something that he's not responsible for. I mean, let's also be, for once, also call a spade a spade.
I don't think that the intent really of organized labor or their target is really the
Newmont and I said, so you see that fundamentally it's important for the engagement.
Right.
People rubbish government. Okay. People say, oh, it's the usual talk shop, they are buying time. It's the usual politics. But at least the Tuesday we also met at Alisa. At least they got educated about how mining works. Even though they still stood by their grounds. So the engagement, and I made it.
We have 11 days.
I'm wrapping up, and I made it very clearly on Newsfile last Saturday that the engagement is not about talk shop. Because when I read the statement, as a regulator and knowing what I know, I realized that some of the language, problematic. And you just saw the one banning galamsey. How do you ban something that is illegal? So education is important.
Right. Okay. Thanks. Once again to you, Martin, for joining me. And next week we'll get to speak a lot more about these issues. And apologies to our viewers who've been waiting for the sports program. And of course, the sports crew. Apologies.
You need to. You cannot keep apologizing forever because you need to. It seems you've been enjoying that. You need
I just engage in galamsey.
You need to rein in.
What I did is galamsey.
Because you also allow the politicians.
That's galamsey.
Yes, when they come in. To also
that's galamsey. So I engage in stakeholder
media galamsey.
So I engage in stakeholder talks to
so they take my time and then I also take the time with the sports people.
So we endeavor to stop the galamsey.
Media galamsey.
So up next is sports.